Hey there, welcome to the 5-day real estate sales and marketing audit. I'm Jessica with REI Sift, and I can't wait to get started. Alrighty, we're going to jump right in. So, like I said, we're doing the audit. So I'm going to give you as much information as I can live today. Today, we're going to audit your business, looking at 4 key components of your real estate business. If you we're going to do a workbook, like a worksheet slash workbook that we put together that we think is really awesome. If you're joining live and you don't have access or watching the recording and you don't have access to the audit workbook, you're going to go to this website that I have right here at the bottom of my screen. I can also put it in the chat, except for it doesn't like to go into the Facebook community for some reason. But you will go to this website and you will download, put in your email address. It will email you the workbook and you can download it. So make sure to do that if you don't already have access to the audit workbook. All righty. So we'll be live in the community every day this week. Normally we start on a Monday. However, we started on Tuesday this week. So we'll be live 4 days this week at 10 a.m. in the Facebook community. Today we're going to do the 5-day audit, like the actual workbook, and we're going to audit those components of your business. If you have a question, ask away in the chat. I'll try to answer as I go. I actually really like it when I get a lot of engagement and questions and you're answering things that I ask. Makes it a little easier and to know where you're at and what kind of questions you have as we go. Take some notes. And it's really helpful, like I said, when you comment and answer questions. We're going to do your audit, like I said. So today, day 1, we're going to look at the 4 areas, which are marketing, sales and lead management, operations, and KPIs. And we're going to audit those components individually and then also get like a comprehensive kind of score to see where you're at or where you can dial in. And then each of the following days, normally we have 4 days following, we cover those areas kind of broadly and talk about some of the things that you can do or REI Sift you can do to help you in those areas, best practices in those areas. We will combine a little bit. We'll combine Thursday and Friday, and we'll do KPIs and operations the same day this week. This stuff's going to help you whether or not you're an REI Sift customer. Of course, we want you to be. So when I show on the subsequent days how to do certain things or how to help certain processes, I will use REI Sift to demonstrate that. If for some reason you're not a user, we do have an offer where you can get some credits when you become a user. And if you're already a user, I do have an offer at the end that you can stick around to if you'd like to. So this is the one for people who are not users yet. If you're not an REI Sift user, you can sign up with this code 5-day audit. And if you use that code 5-day audit, you'll get $25 in free credits. And credits can be used for skip tracing and direct mail. And kind of a sneak peek here. Can't get too much into it, but we do have some big things coming with direct mail. So these credits could be really helpful with that. All right, so a little bit about me before we dig in and get started. I'm Jessica. First and foremost, I'm a mom and a wife. I have 2 kiddos. Been married for I think 12 years. And I have 2 kids. I am the customer success team lead at REI Sift. So my job is to lead education in this way, like I'm talking now, and also to make sure that users are finding success in their real estate business. And using REI Sift to implement those things in their business. I'm a former math teacher of 7 years. And so what that really taught me to do is take big ideas, big concepts, and break them down into actionable steps for you in REI Sift, or even when teaching somebody how to do algebra or calculus, right? So I can take those bigger concepts and break them down, hopefully. So make sure to ask me questions if you need them, and I'm here to help you along the way. So a little bit about REI Sift. We are a sales and marketing CRM. We have strong education, why we do things like this, these free challenges and webinars Tyler will host and all those kinds of things. you can kind of, just one second, my daughter's calling me. All right, sorry about that. Um, where was I at? Well, it's REI Sift. You can kind of think of us as like your central hub for your data, and you use us to do your marketing and track all of your marketing attempts. We integrate with some of the best in class, marketing services, dialing services like smartphone, pretty soon smart dialer, call tools, air call, ready mode. And so you connect them with us, you integrate with us, you track all of your marketing, and you can use this as your CRM, track all of your lead follow up, your sales process, all of that within REI Sift. So you have all of that clarity and information in your data, and you're not wasting money doing things like skip tracing things you've already skip traced, not knowing which ones you've called and not texted, not knowing you have a new lead that you need to follow up with. Things slipping through the cracks should not happen if you're using REI Sift properly. All right. So like I said, let's dig in. Today, we're going to do day one, the audit itself. Make sure you go to this website and get the audit workbook if you do not already have it. You'll put in your email address. It will send you an email. You can download the audit workbook. All right, so if you're joining the audit, or just if you're in general in business, why is the audit important? Well, we all have issues or things that could be improved in business, and that's whether it's just you alone, just starting in your real estate business, or if you have a team of 20. Even at REI Sift, we do quarterly audits, right? We'll talk about that a little bit more to figure out where are the areas that we could improve. And so most often in real estate, if you guys want to share anything that you're seeing, you can type it in the comments. I'd love to see like what do you see as like your biggest obstacle or issue in your business right now? I really like it when I have an interactive audience, and I see I do have a few people live right now. So I'll give you guys a second to respond. Are there any issues or obstacles that you're looking to overcome in your business right now? Facebook user says acquisitions problem. So when it says Facebook user, that's just because I'm using a tool called StreamYard to stream to Facebook. And if you're using Facebook, you have to give it permission. So in the link of this video, or in the description, there should be a link if you want to register your name. So I can see who you are. I'll be able to see it in the comments on Facebook when I go back later, but it won't show it here unless you register your name. Reminding myself when to follow up with people. All right. These are both good. So with acquisitions, you're like talking about like the offer process, or once you have a lead, kind of converting it to get it under contract. Good. All right. This Facebook user says organization and not knowing where to start with data. These are all really good ones. And I like that they're kind of dialed in a little bit to a process, which is really good, because a lot of times what I hear is like more leads. I want more lead gen, right? Um, Things like that. And so I like that some of these are kind of dialed into some of the issues, smaller issues, making sure to follow up, having organization and knowing where to start with data. All of these, issues that come up, we kind of find go into like three major things. Um, Three major things. So the first one usually comes from a lack of insight. And so I would think that, when we're talking about, not knowing where to start, not having the organization, that is like a lack of insight sometimes, like knowing where to start. What do I do? How do I start developing these things that I need to have? And being able to have the insight in my data to know, hey, it's organized in this method. I know what I've marketed to, what I haven't. I know what I've skip traced and what I haven't. Like having that insight in your data can be a major thing there. Another one that we really encounter often is clarity. So knowing, how to follow up, how often to follow up, um, where to start, like all those things, like answering those questions and knowing what to do. And so that really comes in with a lack of processes. So when we're talking about where to start with our data, how to follow up with people, how to handle the acquisitions process. That is really about a lack of processes often. And if we can develop those processes, then we can get into a state of business where these things are kind of handled uniformly every time. But that said, appropriately for somebody's situation, especially once you get into the lead and sales management side, you want to handle somebody differently that wants to sell their property as soon as possible than somebody who is interested in selling, but not until next year for whatever personal reason, right? So we want to handle people appropriately for their situation, but have a process in place to handle that. All right. So what we're going to do in this challenge, I'm only live for an hour each day, so we're not going to completely build your business in these 4 days live, but you will have some insight and clarity, and you'll have the beginnings of knowing how to build those systematic processes, and you'll know where to get the resources to get those processes built. So we're going to dive in and look at our business now and get the insight into the business and the clarity of knowing what direction we want to go. And then we will start talking about those processes. But Rome wasn't built in a day, so we're not going to build all of your business processes in these 4 days live, but you'll have an idea of where to get started and where to get those resources that you need to get started in that. All right, one more time. If you need this workbook that we're about to do, make sure you go to this website and sign up, and it will email you the workbook. So this audit that we're going to do, like I said, we're going to talk about your marketing, sales, lead management, operations, and KPIs. In the very beginning, we're going to talk a little bit about numbers. If you're brand new to real estate, you may not have any profits yet. Sometimes I get people on that are like brand new. They haven't closed their first deal yet. That's totally okay. You're just going to have a negative profit margin at first. So we're going to calculate profit margin first, and that's going to become part of the audit later on. And then we audit each of those things, and we get a score for each department kind of area of your business so that you can kind of dial in on like, where is the biggest leak first? Maybe my biggest leak is marketing. I want to like plug that leak first. And then next quarter or next month when I audit again, I'm going to tackle KPIs, right? You want to like tighten up the leakiest sink first in a way. And then you also get like your overall score as well. So why is auditing important? This is a lot of words, but in general, it's crucial for all real estate investors and really all businesses. So whether you're novice or seasoned, professional, you've been doing it for 20 years, it's important to know that your business is operating efficiently and effectively. Look, I put on this slide, it's supposed to say efficiently and effectively, and I put efficiently and efficiently. We want it really efficient. But we want to be able to, dive in and know, sometimes what we do just as people, whether it's in business or like individually, I think about like medical things sometimes. Like, my grandfather had skin cancer and he ignored it on his nose because it was just small, right? And it grew and grew and grew until it became a really big problem for him. And sometimes in life, we want to like kind of bury our head in the sand and like ignore, that spot on our nose. But if we let it fester, it becomes something worse. And so the same thing in our business, we don't want to be like the ostrich with our head in the sand. We want to know like, hey, where can I improve? And whether we're somebody that's just getting started or we're doing, $1 million a year, there is always something that, we can tighten up or improve or expand upon and move forward. And so that's why we find that it's important to regularly audit. So we're going to take regular assessments to figure out where we stand. You get to pinpoint specific issues within your operations and tackle them. And you're going to do your most pressing problems first. So that's why we're doing individual areas. So like if marketing is your most pressing problem, you can focus on that first. Or if operations is your most pressing problem, you can focus on that first. And that will gradually improve your overall performance. All right, so one more time, there is the website to get the audit workbook. I'm going to switch over to my tablet, so give me just 1 second. So I downloaded mine to my tablet and I write on my tablet. You can do that. You can print it and write on it. Sometimes people have, something like Adobe and they like type on it, whatever works for you. All right, let me switch over there. Hopefully it's still connected. It is. All right, so this is our audit workbook. Looks like you guys can see it, but let me know if you can't. All right, so this is our audit workbook. And Tyler kind of dreamed up the idea of this. You can kind of think about it like those health screenings you do sometimes in the doctor's office where it's like rating yourself 1 through 5, but we're doing like the health of your business. And we do something similar to this for REI Sift itself, where we like rate, like each of us does the survey for our company and then we average it all together when we do our quarterly meetings. But we kind of broke it down specific for real estate investors and incorporated kind of like those 4 components. And we're pretty proud of it. Tyler kind of dreamed up the idea, and that's where my job is to kind of take the big ideas and put them into like action and concepts. And so if you haven't done this before, we hope that you save it. And whether you join us live every month or every quarter, you can hopefully incorporate this into your business as needed. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is kind of get our net profit. And the reason we're going to do that is it's going to become part of our survey we're kind of doing in a little bit, but also it's just good to know what you're spending money on and, where you can maybe tighten things up. So the first thing, we broke it into kind of 3 sections. If you already are using something like QuickBooks and you want to do this, you can just write down the totals. So the blue boxes are the totals for each of these areas. Especially when it comes to team, you can just put like the total you spent on your team if you have a team. All right, so we broke it into tools and marketing, other expenses, and then how much are we spending on our team or our employees. So prospectors, although it is like a team member, we count that as a marketing expense because they're doing the marketing for us. So let's just say for right now, I have one VA, I'm paying her $750 a month. So we'll do this like for last month for June. Skip tracing, maybe I spent, $300 skip tracing in June. REI Sift, I'm on the business plan, so I spent $299. Direct mail, maybe I'm just only doing handwritten letters and I sent out $100 worth. Maybe I'm not doing bulk dialing, so you can leave something blank. Bulk SMS, I'm not doing bulk SMS. Click to call tool, so that would be like AirCall or smartphone, or sometimes people are even using something free like Google Voice, whatever you're using. But AirCall and smartphone are the ones that we're integrated with. And let's just say that that cost me, $200. And so we're going to add up, and there's blank spaces here, so you can put other expenses. You're running ads. You're putting up bandit signs, like whatever you're spending money on in marketing or tools, you're going to add that up here. So different softwares you could be using, marketing, signs, ads, whatever. And we're going to add this up. So I am going to open my calculator. I am really bad about opening the calculator and then forgetting it's on the screen when I start writing on my tablet. So if for some reason I do that, y'all holler at me in the comments, please. And be like, you're covering it. We can't see what you're writing. And I will try to fix it. All right. So 750 plus 300 plus 299 plus 100 plus 200. And so we're at 1649 for our marketing expenses. Okay. Now let's minimize that so I don't forget. Now, other expenses. If you have office space and you're renting it, office expenses, utilities, whatever it is, I'm just going to put $500 here, but we gave you a place to break down like any other expenses separate from marketing or your team that you're accruing in your business. So you would put that here, ink for your printer, your power bill, your cell phone bill, like whatever necessary business expenses you have, gas for driving for dollars, like whatever you have going on there. And then acquisitions. So this is like team. So I did put these spaces here so you could calculate kind of, it's free so that you could put whatever you wanted. Like maybe you have 2 acquisitions teammates and you pay them this much a month. Some of these roles though, or you pay them hourly times this many hours, but really the most important would be like the totals over here. So maybe like I paid my acquisitions person $1,500 last month, but so this column, and especially here, is like the most important part. So you can just put the total that you paid by these roles. Often these are commission based too sometimes. So you can put the total that you paid them over here and then the total amount at the bottom. And so maybe like my lead manager made, I'm just using some broad numbers here, $1,000. So you want to look back, if you have teammates, how much did you pay them over the last month? And then that total would go here. So pretty self-explanatory, I think. So you're going to take the total in each of these areas, and that goes into the next page. So we had 1649, 500, and 2500. Often, if you're just starting out, your expenses should be less than this. So just keep in mind, like when we do net profit, if you've never closed a deal, I don't know, I guess I should have asked in the beginning, like, where are we at? Like, are we brand new to real estate investment? Have we been doing it for 30 years? Like, where are we at? But if you've never closed a deal, because that question comes up sometimes, then you're just going to have a negative profit for right now. And that's to be expected. You would probably want to you wouldn't want this much in expenses, right? If you're just starting out, you would want to be kind of running a tight business, and you're doing something else to finance that until you start closing consistently, right? So, Tyler often says like driving for Uber Eats or, still working your W-2 or whatever it takes. You're going to have a little bit of negative there until you start closing those deals. And you're hustling until you get there. So let's add these up. 1649 plus 500 plus 1500, 2500. So I'll do plus another 1,000. And so 4649. Okay. Now you would want to look at your revenue for the previous month. So let's say that I, closed on a couple deals and I made $15,000 last month. Now yours, if you just downloaded it, it should be corrected. But when I put mine on my tablet, I had a typo here, which is embarrassing as a former math teacher, because your profit should not be adding your expenses and revenue. It should be revenue minus expenses. I need to download the new version, but if you just downloaded it, you shouldn't have that typo there. So you're going to subtract your expenses. So subtract 4649. I think it's 10,351, but let's check. 15,000 minus 4649. Yes. 10,351. Okay. So that would be my net profit, like how much money I made after expenses. Now what we're calculating is before taxes. Net profit is before taxes. You should consult your CPA about how much you should be putting away for taxes, or be using a software like QuickBooks. Make sure that you're doing all the appropriate things there. But we're going to calculate our net profit. Net profit is before taxes. All right, so your net profit is going to go in the numerator here to get your profit margin or percent of profit. If you haven't closed anything yet, that would make the revenue 0. So it's going to be hard to divide. So you can just put negative here, like you have a negative profit margin, and that will work for the purpose of what we're doing today. If you have earned some money, then like if you have some revenue, then you'll be able to calculate this. All right. So we're going to put 15,000 on the bottom, 10,351 on the top. And you divide that and then multiply by 100. So divided by 15,000 and then times 100. And so I have a 69% profit margin, which is pretty healthy. Now, so this serves two purposes. One was to calculate your profit margin in like a kind of easy way. And the second is if the profit margin's not quite where you want it to be yet, then you can also look at like where you could trim some fat or where things, you don't want to be cheap. You want to be efficient. That's what we always say. So, it's worth paying for the services you need, but you want to be efficient. Is there anything that is redundant or that you could cut out or that you could do a little more efficiently until you're ready to add that thing in, and not just adding things in because it's like the trendy thing or the cool thing, like adding things in at the appropriate time and having a plan. Some of that stuff we talk about like in our Data to Dollars challenge. Have a plan for when you want to add things in, and when it's the appropriate time to do so. All right. So now that we've done that, we've got our profit margin. Unless we have any questions, I can wait a second to see if we have any questions there. We're going to start doing the actual audit. Because of the time delay, like the first month we had a lot of people live, I did a survey for every single question. What I've been doing the last couple months is I'll kind of give an example and give a score to kind of demonstrate it for you guys. And then on question 3 in each section, I'll ask for you guys to type in where you think you're at. So you're going to put in on your own, when you're doing your own audit, or when I ask, you're going to type in 1 through 5 in whatever area I ask. I would love some engagement if we have some people on that are willing to engage, which it looks like we did because you guys answered the question earlier. So I'll give some examples. 1 means you never do this or you don't have this at all in your business. And then 5 means you're always doing it. It's very consistent. You have that set up. And I'll kind of explain each question a little bit, and then I'll give a score. But on number 3 on each section, I'll ask for your input. There is one question that's a little bit different, and that's the net profit one. But the rest of them are 1, never, to 5, always. So the first section that we're going to talk about is marketing. So question 1 is, you have a systematic process in place to acquire new data and follow it through marketing. So you know where you're getting your data, whether there's a million places to get it, right? You can get it PropStream, you can get it from REI SIFT, you can get it from the county, which we recommend for vexations, tax delinquent properties, all that. So you have a process in place to acquire it. And then you have a system up until marketing. So that means you have a way to view it, look at it, know it's been marketed to. You can skip trace it and not waste money skip tracing it. If you've done it before, you have a process. Like if you using REI SIFT, you're uploading it to REI SIFT, then you're skip tracing it, you're getting it ready for marketing, and you have a process in place all the way through until it's ready to market. Meaning you have numbers, or if you're just doing direct mail, then it might be a little bit different. But you have this, the steps in place to do that. Usually people are pretty good here, so I'm going to give us a 4. Maybe there's something we could tighten up a little bit, but we have that process in place. Number 2, it is easy to determine what data has been marketed to and what strategies have been used. So this means you can tell when you get a new list, if there's any addresses on there that I've already marketed to. This can happen sometimes. If you pull a tax delinquent list, that property could have already been on a code enforcement list, and you've already, skip traced it and marketed to it before. Do you know that? Can you tell what's been marketed to, what strategies have been used? So for example, these records have been dialed or called, but they've never been texted, or they've been called and texted, but never sent direct mail. So what's been used, what hasn't been used, it's been marketed to. I'm going to give us a 3 on that one. All right, so number 3 is the one I'm going to have you vote on. So get ready to type in your numbers. Marketing strategies are employed to maximize effectiveness, including avoiding targeting phone numbers or property owners that have already been reached. So let's talk about that before. That means you're really tracking phone numbers. So you're keeping the intelligence and clarity in your data to know I already have a correct number or a wrong number or a dead number for these property owners. And so, for example, if you already have a correct number, you're not wasting time sending that property to the dialer again and not knowing you already had a correct number. So you're tracking you're not interested basically, or your leads. And then using multiple channels to reach your target audience. So that goes back into, being able to do it multiple ways to find the best way to reach the homeowner appropriately. Okay, so where are we at there? 1 through 5. If you guys want to vote, or whoever votes first, I can take their score. So type it in 1 through 5. Are you always doing this? 5, or do you feel like you're 1? You need to really tighten this up. I'll wait a minute, because sometimes there's a delay. See if somebody votes. Maybe we're not going to get a vote today. All right, then I'm going to give us a 2. Nobody votes. All right, number 4, the company consistently generates leads based on problems they can solve. So this has 2 things: consistently generating leads. So that you're going to be able to consistently generate the number of leads that you want. Oh, look, the Facebook user did vote, and I picked the right number too. So it worked out. Thank you for voting, Facebook user. So number 4, the company consistently generates leads. So consistently, this person put 4 for the last one. So maybe I should average it and make it a 3. See, it just takes a while sometimes, I think, for me to be able to see the scores. So I need to just wait a little longer. All right, so the company consistently generates leads based on problems they can solve. So you're consistently generating the leads, meaning you're getting, consistent generation. You can rely on it, and you have a process in place. So what it means by problems you can solve: you are really good at handling a particular situation or vexation. Like, let's just take pre-foreclosure, for example. You are kind of an expert on that process. It's something that you can help homeowners with, and you have a way in place to kind of get ahead, find the people that are on pre-foreclosures list, get them on the phone, be able to help them solve their problems, and consistently generate leads based off that. So I'm going to give us a 3 on this one. There's a process in place to reach owners who have not responded to previous marketing efforts. So think about this like a conveyor belt, right? And we'll talk about this more tomorrow. But if you think about it like a conveyor belt, you have a plan in place. And keep in mind that, you may not have all of this right now, but even if you don't have everything that I'm about to talk about, you are at least tracking what you're doing, so that when you want to add in another strategy, you have the business intelligence to be able to add things in. So think about it like a conveyor belt. I get this list of people that I want to reach. I'm going to do this process for so long, and then maybe dialing. And then if I don't reach them, I'm going to do this process. And then if I still don't reach them, I'm going to do this process. And think about it as going down a conveyor belt. But not everybody has the business yet to be able to, be doing texting and dialing and direct mail. So even if you're not doing all of those things, you have the business intelligence saved and stored in your data to be able to know, hey, these are the people that I called and didn't get a hold of. So that when I want to do the next strategy, I know where the people I never reached are, so I can do that strategy later if I choose to incorporate it. All right, I'm going to give us 2 on that one. All right, so now you're going to add up how many of each number you had. So we had 0 ones, we had 1 2, 3 3s, 1 4, and 0 5s. And then you're going to multiply, because that's how many points there were. So 0 times 1 is 0, 1 times 2 is 2, 3 times 3 is 9, 1 times 4 is 4, 0 times 5 is 0. And then you add those up. So we have 11 plus 4 is 15. And so I made this little scale down here, which I think is really cute with the little ninja faces. I like it. And you're going to bubble in where you're at. So we had a 15. And so we did like good, bad, ugly, but then we added in like that extra level of like ninja, like you're on fire, right? So we're kind of on that borderline of like good there. All right. Next section, again, I'll have you guys vote on number 3. So if you want to be ready for that, sales management, new leads are quickly followed up with and qualified. I'm going to give us a 5 on that because usually people have a process in place for this. Sometimes if it's just you and you get a new lead, you're going to talk to them right away. But especially once you hire like a VA or something, if they get a new lead, you have a process in place so that your lead manager is notified, even if that's you. You know right away when a new lead comes in, and you can quickly qualify them and find out, how quickly they want to sell, what's their temperature, all of those kinds of things. I'm gonna give us a 5 because I think most people, like, that's the thing that they're not hopefully losing is their new leads. All right, all leads and tasks are completed in a timely manner in accordance with their lead temperature. So a couple things here. You have a process in place to determine a lead temperature. So we recommend cold, warm, hot, and that's based on how quickly they want to sell. And then you want to handle them appropriately for that lead temperature. I'm going to be calling a hot lead a lot more frequently than I call a cold lead. But either case, you have a process in place to be able to follow up with them in a timely manner. Because earlier, one of the Facebook users mentioned that they need to help reminding themselves when to follow up. I'm going to use that to judge that at least one person needs to work on this a little bit. So I'm going to give us a 2 on this one. All right, a repeatable process is utilized for smooth handoff between sales departments, lead management, acquisitions, transactions, and dispositions. Now, sometimes it's just you, and that's okay, but you kind of want to track these processes a little bit different for KPI purposes, and so that when you do get in a place where you want to hire somebody for like a lead manager role, you have it defined of like what that role is specifically, right? Now, one thing I want to point out is the between. Before we vote, I'm gonna have you vote in just a second. Usually people have a process in place to go like up the stairs. Like, I'm gonna hand this off. Now it's lead management. Now it's acquisitions. Now it's transactions and dispo because I have it under contract and I'm doing whatever process to get it finalized and closed. Where people don't usually have a process is if I have to pass it back down. What if I pass it over to lead management and then they ghost me? What do? What if lead manager passes it off to acquisition? So I think they're ready to hear offers. And then I realize we're not going to be able to come to an agreement. Maybe this person has a real emotional attachment right now, but their circumstances could change. So I still want to follow up with them. I got to pass it back down to lead management. So do I have a process to pass it up the chain and down the chain? So let's vote for that one. 1 through 5. Do we have a process in place when we're going up to go between departments, even if it's just you? Because even if it's just you and you started kind of making offers and then it falls through, do you let that just like slip through the cracks, or do you kind of put that back into a lead management follow-up based on that? So let's vote. I'll wait like 1 whole minute just because I think sometimes the delay takes a minute. I really want to like a Jeopardy button. Play like the do 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 do. Anybody else like Jeopardy? I'm a big Jeopardy fan. All right. If somebody votes, I'll go back and change it. But I'm going to give us a 2 on that one, just based on what I normally see on like strategy calls. People sometimes have a process to go up. Maybe it's not set, but they at least have something they're doing. They often don't have anything in place when something falls through and they have to kind of go back down that. All offers and communication with seller is documented. So anytime you're communicating, talking, the phone conversations, it's documented. You're leaving notes. If you're using REI Sift and you're integrated with either AirCall or smartphone, the conversations get put in the activity log. But whatever you're using, even if you're not a user yet, because you can do this if you're not even an REI Safe user. But all of that communication is getting documented. You can go back and look at the conversations and notes. You can see all the offers you've made. We actually have offer tracking, which we'll dig into on Thursday. So all of that is documented in a place where when somebody from, so if I am the lead manager and then I pass it over to acquisitions to make offers, all of that is documented so that anybody on my team can be able to see it and I can look at it. So I'm going to give us a 3 on that one. And then leads and deals are routinely audited for lost opportunity. So this would mean that when, I would say for lost and like for success as well, but because of that activity log and that message board in REI Sift, you're able to, when a deal closes or when it falls through, you really want to review that with yourself or with your team if you have a team, to look at it and say like, okay, I closed on this one. What did I do really well on this deal so I can replicate that? Or this deal fell through. Where do we mess up? Oh, look, it became a hot lead on August 5th. And then we didn't call it again until September 20th. And they had already sold the property to somebody else. So I can see right there that I need to tighten up my lead management. And so you're routinely auditing that and you have that insight so that you have the clarity of knowing how could I improve or what did I do really well so I can reverse engineer that success and do it again. All right, I'm going to give us a 1. We'll get our first one. All right. So I have 1 1, 2 2s, 1 3, 0 4s, 1 5. So 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 is 0, 5. And that is 5, 10, 13. So my sales and lead management score is a 11, 12, 13. All right, we're going to do it for 2 more sections. All right, so going back up to number 1, you're going to use that score you got to mark it. So this is the only question that's not 1 for always or 5 for always, 1 for never. For me, I got a 69% up there on that net profit margin. So you're taking this score right here that we calculated. And based on that, you're going to bubble the appropriate, check mark the appropriate box. So because I'm at 69%, which is greater than 50, I would check mark 5. If you've never closed the deal yet because you're brand new, totally fine. You're going to check box 1 because you're less than 0% margin, profit margin. And then appropriately 1 through 20, check box 2, 21 through 43. So you're going to check mark the appropriate box. All right, all employees, this is talking about operations. All employees execute tasks with accordance of the company's mission, vision, and values. So there's a couple things here. Do you know your company's mission, vision, and values? So, everybody in your company knows what the mission is. They have the same vision and they know the company's values. You can actually see like REI said, every company should have this, whether it's real estate, software company, whatever. So at the software company, we have our 6 core values and you can see 2 of them here. Be a ninja, so we're relentless in everything we do, and show up, be what others are counting on, be on time, be ready. So does your company have values, vision, mission? And then do all employees know about them and are they executing them like they're doing their tasks to move that mission, vision forward? So I'm going to give us a 3. Team members know their role and can define their daily, weekly, monthly tasks. So you can actually make something called playbooks. We're not going to get into it too heavily, but a playbook is where like I developed a playbook for my role because I was the first customer education specialist when I got hired. Now I'm the first customer success team lead. So as that's happening, we're going to define my role, and I have to know like what am I daily, weekly, monthly doing, and I can define that, and that way I know what my responsibilities are. I can be held accountable for those responsibilities, and then if I leave the company or if I get promoted and somebody else fills that role is defined, right? So we want to have that defined. So I'm going to give us a 3 on that one. Team members know where to access standard operating procedures and routinely utilize them to complete their daily routine. So do you have a place of resources where tasks that you maybe want a VA to do, pull data from the county? Do you have an SOP for that to show them how and have the expectations clearly marked? Or how to do a niche marketing attempt, how to use call tools, any SOP, anything that you're doing in your business, do they know where to access videos or steps of how to implement those in the daily routine? I'm going to give us a 2 just because I know that takes time, and that's often kind of one of the like last steps that people get to. And then flow charts are routinely updated to illustrate processes. So you can use flow charts to like show like what's the company's mission, like what are the 6 steps that we're trying to accomplish. You can show the marketing flow through flow charts, how things should flow through, how niche attempts should be, how that kind of stuff should go. So again, I'm going to give us a 2. I don't want to assume, but just based on conversations I've had, sometimes these operations are one of the last things that we get to. All right, so I have 0, 1, 2 2s, 2 3s, 0 4s, 1 5. So 0 4 6 0 5. So we're at a 15 on operations. All right, last section. We should be able to get off pretty close to 11. Our goal is to be at about an hour a day, so I don't take up too much of your time. All right, KPIs are used to measure and monitor progress towards specific objectives. So you're tracking your KPIs and you're using them. You have a goal you're trying to get to. You're using those KPIs to get towards that goal and to make sure that you're on progress for that. So I'm going to give us a 3. The company reviews KPIs based on roles regularly. So if you have more than one person, or even if you're wearing like 6 different hats, you know the KPIs, like when you're for marketing, separate from the KPIs for lead management. So you can dig into knowing where the leaks might be, right? Because if we're only tracking like how many deals I'm closing a month, and it's not where we want it, then if I'm not looking at my marketing KPIs separately from my lead management KPIs, then I don't know where to diagnose the problem. All right, so I'm going to give us a 3 there. KPI data is used to stay on track, make necessary adjustments, and maximize results. This is so important because often when somebody tells me they're not getting like the lead generation they want, the first thing, like the natural reaction is like, I'm just going to call more people. If I call enough people, somebody's going to want to sell their house. And there is some truth to that, but is it the most effective way? And are you really dialing into what the problem could be? So it's better to look at your KPIs and figure out how to stay on track, how to make adjustment, how to maximize your results based on data, because data doesn't lie. So it's really important. I'm going to give us a 2 just because of how many of that, like, if I call 1 million people, somebody's going to want to sell their house. Well, yeah, but is that the most effective way to do it? And are you maximizing your data? Are you wasting money doing that? Like, there's a lot of things that go into that. So I'm going to give us a 2 on that. A process is followed to diagnose the problems within the problems of non-performing KPIs. And so this is kind of digging even more into that. So if I'm not getting the lead generation that I want, is it the amount of correct numbers that I'm getting? Or is it the correct numbers converting to leads? Am I doing anything with my not interesteds? If you are wondering why I'd even want to do that, then definitely tune in tomorrow. I'll talk about it a little bit because I'll give you a hint, because if somebody says they're not interested, we still spent money getting a correct number to the homeowner. And we just know that there's a certain amount of overturn in the market. That person's circumstances could change. I already have the correct number to that homeowner. I already spent money getting it. So they should be in their own follow-up. So if their circumstance changes, I'm available to help them sell their house or purchase their house or get out of the situation that they're in or whatever the case may be. But this is talking about like ratios, and you can look at, is my dial to correct number? What's my dial to correct number ratio? And then what's my correct number to lead ratio? And based on that, you can dial into what the issue really is. Maybe it's not that I need to call more people. Maybe it's that the conversations I'm having aren't converting to leads. So you really want to dig into the problem within the problem. I'm going to give us a 2 or 3. I'll do 3. All team members' actions are tracked daily. Give us a 4 because most people do know that they should be tracking their KPIs for each team member. All right, let's add that up. So 0, 1, 3, 1, 0. So 0, 2, 9, 4, 0. That's 11. That's a 15. I got a lot of 15s today. Boop, boop, boop. All right. So I think I got 3 15s and a 13. Yeah. Okay. So then you go to the next page and you put in each section. So I had 15, 13, 15, 15. But yours probably won't be all 15s. So this, remember, was our section A was marketing. I should have typed these here, but we'll write them. Marketing, sales and lead management, operations, KPIs. And then you can total that up to get your overall company score. So that's 45, 48, I think it's 58. And this scale isn't like these scales up here were 1 by 1, like 11, 12, 13, 14. This scale doesn't count 1 by 1, so you're just going to approximate. I'd say 58 is right here. So you can bubble it in. So what this allows us to do is like dial in. Like if these were my genuine scores on our group company here, I would want to dial into sales and lead management first this month or this quarter and tighten up that process. And then audit myself again at the end of the month or the end of the quarter, and then focus on the next section next. You want to tackle the lowest score first. Now, this is a little bit different. So we're going to do, because I started on a Tuesday, we're going to talk about marketing tomorrow on Wednesday. We're going to talk about sales and lead management on Thursday this week. And then we're going to combine operations and KPIs together on Friday. Because I started on Tuesday. So you can either tune in every day. I'd love for you guys to be live with me every day, or you can tune in to the day with the lowest score that you want to focus on this month. I'll be live at 10 a.m. Central Time every day this week in the Facebook community. So what I'd love to see in the comments, if I can get a little bit of engagement, if you guys want to comment in. Sometimes it's hard because it's like we feel shy, but then again, like we are in a business where, we're cold calling people to ask them to sell their house. So we can't be too shy. So what I'd love for you guys to do is comment into the comments and either share your score, or what I really love to know is like, you don't even have to give me the number. What is the area that you need to dial into first? So what section, marketing, sales and lead management, operations, or KPIs is the one that you need to tackle first this month? So basically, like, which section was your lowest score? I'll wait. You guys can respond. If you don't know yet, then because you're still calculating, because we did live, then I'll put a Facebook post. I'll talk about that in a second. Oh, look, this Facebook user was the same as me on my score, sales and lead management. If you're still doing it, then I'll do a Facebook post too, where you can comment it later. Like, what's the area that you want to focus on the most? So sales and lead management. So you definitely want to tune in on Thursday when I talk about that. But I'd love for you to join me every day live if you have time. Also, the recordings for each day do get posted to the Facebook community. So if for some reason you can't join live, you can always watch the recording as well. All right, maybe everybody else is still calculating. If I see any more pop up, I will share them with the group. All right. So we talked about this a little bit. Again, if you don't have an REI-Sift account, for the next few days, I will be showing how to streamline some of these things in REI-Sift. You can get a free trial when you sign up. You get a 7-day trial. Thank you, Facebook user. Boop, boop. And you'll get $25 in credits to spend on skip tracing or direct mail if you use this code 5-day audit, all capital, sign up. So do it if you're not a user. Do it. All right. So we talked about where you guys need to improve. This, remember, is edited just a little bit. This is Wednesday, Thursday, and then we're combining these two on Friday, but I'll be live the rest of the week at 10 a.m. And I'll post this in the community. This person said they had the lowest score in operations. Cool. So you want to definitely tune in Friday, even if you can't do the other days, or watch the recording on Friday. We'll talk about it a little bit. Now, keep in mind that we're not going to have your entire operations set up in an hour, but I'll give you an idea of how to get started and how to start incorporating some of those things. Yes. All right. I'll post this in the Facebook community. So definitely, if you have time to go in there and respond to the post as well. All right. So if there's some things you need to adjust, so this is kind of, if you're ready to hop off, you can. We're almost at that hour mark. We did put together a little bit of an offer to go with this challenge that we didn't have until we started the challenge, and that we're calling it the Instant Ninja Bonus. So often, like at events or on calls, we would get asked like, hey, do you guys have a service where you can like completely set up the account for me and like get me started? And Tyler kind of thought about that for a while, and he knew, people are paying, thousands of dollars on other CRMs to have it completely set up. But we kind of wanted to do it at like a bit of a discounted rate. And so what we put together was the Instant Ninja Bonus. So stick around if you want to hear about it. If not, you can hop off and I'll see you live tomorrow. No worries. So what we could do is sales and marketing system creation. So we'd set up your REI SIFT account, and this can, some of the people that have taken advantage of this offer, they were already users. And so what I did was streamline what they already had, change some things around, fix some processes that they didn't like the way they were working. Or if you're starting from scratch, we can completely set it all up for you. So we'd gather all your information. There's a survey you fill out. We'll have some phone conversations. I set up your account and configure it according to your needs and requirements. Then we have, consistent calls to go over it, how to implement it, and that kind of stuff, and how to like adjust if needed. We'll adjust it. And then you'll be on the business plan, which we'll talk about in a second. So you'll have access to premium onboarding and premium support. So as long as you're a user, you'll be able to have those consistent like check-ins, and we'll handle it as needed. So again, if you're already a user, we can still do this. We'd streamline it and adjust the processes you already have and that kind of stuff. So you'd be able to consistently generate leads like we talked about, document all your offers, be able to be consistent. And this one, wake up every day and complete the tasks necessary to move the business forward. Now, you still have to complete the tasks. If I logged into my REI SIFT account right now, I have overdue tasks. So you still have to log in, no matter how well the system is set up, you still have to be consistent and log in and do the things you need to do every day. You'll stop wasting money, skip tracing owners again, losing deals, not having a flow, not having a process, spending money and not knowing where it's going. That happens to me sometimes, like in my personal thing. And then I realize that I stopped by Starbucks too many times. But in your business, you won't have that problem. You'll be able to track it all, and wondering why you lost another deal to someone else. Because even if you do, you'll have that activity log and you'll be able to see, I didn't call that lead for 30 days and then they sold it to someone else, right? Or you can listen to the conversation and see where the conversation went wrong. Even more value in the offer, you'll be on the business plan for free for 3 months, included in this price, which we'll talk about in just a second. Business plan is our highest plan, so it's an $897 value for the 3 months. And this is some of the things it includes. So unlimited record storage. You can upload 25,000 per month records. You can have up to 15 users, up to 30 numbers per record. The integrations will be inbound and outbound. You get dedicated onboarding and support when needed. You'll be able to skip trace your records, and any of our customizations, sequences, filter presets, SIF line boards, custom statuses are all unlimited on the business plan. If you already have an REI SIFT account, that's okay. We'll either upgrade you to business, or we will pause. If you're already on business plan, we'll pause your billing for 3 months. So basically, no matter what plan you're on, we'd be able to accommodate you and extend your billing for the 3 months. For annual, you just wouldn't get charged for 3 extra months, for example. You also get premium onboarding, like I talked about, where we're going to do customized training, support, implementation, help you. We set it up, but we won't leave you hanging. We'll help you learn how to use it and adjust it as needed. You also get access to all of our courses. So our Data to Dollars challenge is now unlimited access because it's not live anymore. It's a pre-recorded one. That's our most popular challenge. If you can't take advantage of the full system creation, I would recommend that you buy this course, because I go through how to set it up in that course. And as I have time, I will update it and you'll still have access since it's unlimited now. So definitely take advantage of that if you can. And then all of our other courses, we have a deep prospecting video, KPI masterclass, lead management blueprint, deal analysis, and wholesale real estate business essentials. So all of that is over a $10,000 value. I'll put this in the chat just in case anybody wants to take advantage. Now, it's not limited to just today, so you can save this so that if it's something that you want to take advantage of in the future, that you have the link. I do have some fast action bonuses I'll offer if you're able to claim it quickly, but for almost $3,000, $2,997, you get all of those things that I already discussed. So bookmark the link or save it if it's something that you think you might want to take advantage of in the future. I'm going to skip ahead just to save us a little bit of time. I just want to talk about some fast action bonuses that if you're able to claim it quickly that you can take advantage of. So migration services, this is mostly to help you upload data. So if you've been using another CRM or another data provider, we can help you upload it into REI Sift. You'll work with Kylie on the support team to do that, and you would export it from your previous CRM. If there's any kind of fixing that needs to happen before we can upload it, as far as like the way that the data is in the CSV file, Kylie would walk you through that process. And then when it's ready to upload, the support team would upload it into your account for you. Also, I put together this little SOP index example, and you can have access to it for free if you claim the bonus as part of the fast action. It's basically like, I'm gonna go over this on Friday, kind of what it looks like, but it's an example. And the ones that are blue, I have made like example SOPs of like how to request data from REI Sift so that you could just make a copy and then edit it more specific for your business. Not all of them have an example, but it kind of gives you an example of what the index could look like. And then you can add in the resources as you go. You also get a Ninja t-shirt, which are priceless in our opinion. You can see our model here is Tyler. And then kind of newer, not a lot of people have these ones yet, is our REI Sift sweaters. And you can see there that they say this cool like little like academy style in the front and then real estate ninja in the back. And actually I have one and I wore it to the grocery store and I kept getting questions about why I'm a real estate ninja. So I feel like it's a good opportunity there too. All right, so that is kind of where we're hopping off today. There's the link again. If you're interested, I will see you guys live tomorrow at 10 a.m. to talk about marketing. And affiliate link, those of you who are still on, don't forget to share your affiliate link. You earn recurring commission for as long as, like if somebody converts, you get 20% for as long as they're a user. So definitely check that out. And that's it. All right. I will see y'all tomorrow. Look out for that Facebook post. Talk to you later.